Frontier have just dropped the trailer for their upcoming Warhammer game, Realms of Ruin. Let's take a look at the trailer and everything we know, including a little bit of not so exclusive info from an event that I attended a couple of weeks ago. So our trailer opens up with a montage of combat as Sigmar narrates her walk towards an Orc encampment where a Cruelfang's commander, Merkfang, is hiding. We get a great meme format from this Warwick Jack as he spots the Stormcast approaching. An Orc force moves in before more Stormcast units flying from above to even the odds and engage in a decently sized battle. Sigmar charges at Merkfang, and just before we clash, we get to a title screen, let us know to expect gameplay and a beta very, very soon. As I said, I also attended an event to see this upcoming title, see a little bit of gameplay and get you some extra info alongside the trailer to share with you all today. So this game will have 4 unique factions on launch. Obviously we've got the Stormcast Eternals and we have Orc Cruel Boys. That leaves 2 more factions yet to be revealed, but judging by how Games Workshop divides up their Age of Sigmar factions on their website, something from Chaos and something from Death would make the most sense to me. The game will feature a narrative-focused single-player campaign shown from the perspective of different champions from the 4 different factions, similar to something like Iron Harvest, where you play through as one faction and then you switch to the next one, play through some missions as them, switch to the next one, and so on and so forth. Apparently we can look forward to a diverse range of different mission types and objectives, as well as units from the tabletop directly, and we have a list of these units at the bottom, which we're going to come to in a moment. The game will focus on RTS primarily, with smaller scale battles similar to something like Dawn of War, Iron Harvest, or the old Empire at War Star Wars game. This is reinforced when they say you can upgrade and specialize in battle just like you can in land-based battles in those games. You upgrade your base, you get better units, and you take out the enemy base, and you kind of rinse and repeat with different objectives and different map types. Of course, alongside the campaign mode, there will be a multiplayer scene where you can go head-to-head in casuals, you can go in competitive, you can do skirmishes with friends, or randoms across multiple platforms, because yes, this is coming out on PC, but it's also coming out on next-gen consoles. Although, is PS5 next-gen or is that just current-gen? I can't remember. I don't know, man. Consoles are consoles. I think it's on consoles either way. Now, during this presentation, we did also see a little bit of gameplay from the campaign, and it was pretty similar to the games I mentioned earlier. The unit size was very small scale. It's nothing like Total War, but you don't really expect it to be. Nothing apart from Total War has that large scale. These are very small scale and very intense and tactical battles where you have to use, actual strategy and superior units rather than just, Control A and right clicking on the enemy. We saw a small Stormcast force move through the map and complete objectives before being taunted by the Cruel Boys. I mean, that's just classic Warhammer stuff, folks. We also got to see a very small amount of a 1 versus 1 multiplayer match, and it is very reminiscent of games like Iron Harvest, the games that I mentioned earlier. Dawn of War, you've got resource points around the map, you take those, you drain the enemy's points. I'm sure there'll be different victory conditions that you can choose, like Annihilation, which I always prefer in those sorts of games. I like completely taking the enemy out rather than just capturing points and hold them. Found that to be a little bit more boring, but you capture resource points, you get more resources, you upgrade your base, you get better units, you take out the enemy, you progress, you take them out. Very standard stuff for this sort of game, but it's Age of Sigmar and it's Warhammer, so should be an interesting twist. I really don't want to say much more than that and form any hardcore opinions because, as I said, it was a couple of weeks ago, we only saw a very small amount of gameplay and I haven't actually got my actual hands on it yet, but the trailer says that the beta is coming very, very soon, so you bet that your boy is going to be tapping up my boys at Frontier and begging for a key the moment that we can get them to bring you gameplay as soon as possible, because this does actually look very interesting to me. And lastly, we have got a reasonably large roster for the 2 factions that we know are coming to the game so far, of course, the Stormcast Eternals and the Cruel Boys. So first up, the Stormcast Eternals, we have Liberators, which are the general armoured foot soldiers of the faction. We have Vanguard Hunters, who are speed guerrilla scouts, Vanguard Raptors, which are long-range precision snipers, Celestar Ballistas, which are rapid-fire deployable weapons, Prosecutors, which are flying hammer-wielding melee troops with high speed and devastating damage, Evocators, which are warrior mages as deadly melee as they are with their spells, Annihilators, which are high-impact melee troops capable of running straight through most foes, Storm Drake Guard, who ride massive dragon-like drakes and use huge lancers for massive impact damage, Lord Celestants, who are high-ranking officers which make all their allied units perform at their peaks, and Knights Velixor, who are heralds of Sigmar's Storm and some of the highest-ranking and most respected units in the faction. And for the Orc Cruel Boys, we have Gut Rippers, who are the standard front lines of the army, with a mishmash of anything sharp that can do damage, Man-Skewer Bolt Boys, who are crossbow-wielding Orcs with long-range precision damage, Hobgrot Slitters, who are offshoots of the Orc family tree and are much tougher and brainier, making them very skilled and very deadly warriors. The Beast Skewer Killbow is a huge ballista that specialises in taking out the largest targets it can find with slow-firing high damage. The Breaker Boss on Maya Brute Troggoth, which is a Cruel Boys Orc leader on top of a towering monster dealing huge damage to anything it can get close to. Marsh Crawler Sloggoths are much larger than Troggoths and are slow, patient hunters with a group of missile-slinging Orcs on their back. A Merknob, which is a great name, is a highly ranking Orc carrying a banner and ensuring less units are doing their jobs properly. The Swamp Caller Shaman are the mages of the Cruel Boys, brewing spells and elixirs to enhance their allies. and killer bosses are even higher ranking orcs and are often the largest on the battlefield. They're as strong as they are sneaky and will lead from the front to take out foes. And finally, you can get the killer bosses on a great Gnash Tooth, which is a terrifying beast mount that will increase speed and power significantly. And that is all that we have for now. Unfortunately, we don't have any actual imagery of these guys in game. That's why I use the mini pictures, but judging by the minis and judging by how similar the units that we have seen in game look to the actual minis, I think it's going to be a very faithful recreation. So I'm going to be very excited to see those in action as soon as we get gameplay. As I said, as soon as we get any more gameplay or news on this game, I'm very excited for it. It will be covered on this channel, so definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Don't forget to like the video, and if you're still hungry for more strategy game announcements, then check out this video here for all we know about Total War Pharaoh.